I touched my stepmom. Family story. When my father remarried, I was 22 and bitter. My mother had passed away 4 years earlier, and the wounds hadn't healed. When Dad introduced me to Lena, a woman barely 10 years older than me, I refused to even look her in the eye. She was 32, elegant, calm, and way too young to be with my father. I hated her for that, for replacing Mom, for smiling too softly, for trying too hard. But she never pushed. That was what made it worse. She didn't fight for my approval. She just existed in the background of our large, modern home like a silent melody I tried hard not to listen to. I returned from university for the summer and found her in my space, cooking, redecorating, organizing, and always polite. Too polite. One evening, Dad had to travel for work. It was just her and me in the house. I planned to stay out, party, and avoid conversation. But when I returned at 2 a.m., tired and slightly drunk, she was still awake. Sitting in the living room, curled up with a book. She looked up, smiled faintly. "You're back late," she said softly. "You're not my mom," I snapped, regretting it instantly. Her face didn't change much, but I saw the flicker in her eyes. "No," she said, closing the book, "but I still care if you get home safe." She stood, her robe flowing around her like smoke, and walked upstairs. That night I didn't sleep much. For the first time I noticed how graceful she was, how her perfume lingered in the hallway, how her voice settled under my skin. Days passed. I tried not to notice her, but I did. Every time. The way she moved in the kitchen, her laughter on a phone call, how her eyes crinkled when she smiled. She wasn't loud. She was calm, mature, magnetic. One morning, I walked into the kitchen shirtless. She looked up from her coffee and froze for a second. "Morning," I said, pretending not to notice. "Morning, Jake," she said, placing her mug down. "Can I ask you something?" I said suddenly, turning to face her. "Why did you marry him?" She blinked. "Your father?" "Yeah." She looked down. "He's kind, stable. I needed stability." That was a strange answer. She didn't say she loved him. She didn't even sound convinced. "And you? You okay with this arrangement?" she asked suddenly, eyes lifting to meet mine. I leaned on the counter, smirking, trying to be. "Try harder," she said, but her voice was teasing. We both laughed. That was the first time we connected. Over the next few weeks, something shifted. We started talking more, cooking together, watching old movies at night. One evening, we sat too close on the couch. Our knees touched. She didn't move away. Neither did I. And then it happened. It was raining, loud and relentless, and the power had gone out. I found her in the kitchen lighting candles. "I hate storms," she said, shivering a little. "Come here," I said, holding out a blanket. She hesitated, then stepped into my arms. Her body was warm. I could feel her heart beating. Her head rested lightly on my shoulder. My hand, unintentionally, or maybe not, found the curve of her waist. She looked up. "Jake," she whispered. But the way she said it wasn't a warning. It was an invitation. I kissed her. It was wrong, but it felt so right, so real. Her lips parted against mine, and for a moment, the storm outside was nothing compared to the thunder in my chest. She pulled back. "We can't." But her hands were still on me. "We already did," I said. The next morning, she avoided me. The spell had broken. She was quiet, distant. I thought I had ruined everything. But that night, she came to my room. "I can't stop thinking about it," she said, stepping inside. "About you." I stood, confused, breathless. "Then don't stop." She kissed me again. Deeper. Slower. There was no hesitation this time. We were careful after that. Dad was gone often for work, but we never took risks. We were discreet. Our connection grew stronger in silence, in stolen glances, soft touches under the dinner table, whispered words in the hallway. It wasn't just physical, it was emotional. I started to understand her. Her loneliness, her gentle sadness, the way she'd been placed in a life that didn't quite fit her. "You're too young for this," she said once. "So are you," I replied. And we both knew we weren't talking about age. One day my dad came home early. He walked in on us standing too close in the kitchen. Nothing explicit, just me drying a plate while she leaned next to me, laughing at something I'd said. But he sensed something. Later that night, he asked, "You and Lena, you getting along better?" "Yeah," I said carefully. "She's not so bad." He nodded slowly. "She says you've grown a lot this summer." I didn't sleep that night. The guilt started to eat at me, but so did the desire. We tried to stop. We even said goodbye once. No more touching, no more flirting. But 1 week later, we fell back into each other's arms. In the G,